Today, Dan and I are heading out on our local waterway, Lake Macquarie.
You ready, mate?
Let's roll.
Let's do it.
Dan and I have been fishing together for a long time and have built an appreciation for not just landing that fish, but making sure that it swims off in the best possible condition.
What a sunrise. What are you throwing? Vibe?
Yeah, a little 70mm vibe, mate.
I might join you.
Today, the plan is simple: to head out and see if we can catch a few different species on a range of different techniques. For us, fishing is a sport. We spend the night before planning on where we'll go, focus our attention during the day on where the fish are sitting, and then work in overdrive to make sure anything we catch is released back into the water.
So yeah, I started catch and release fishing simply because I don't like to eat seafood, but as I got a bit older, I started to realise that if I want to keep catching these fish in the future, I've got to look after them, handle them correctly, and put them back.
This type of fishing may be hard for some to get their head around, but once you pick it up, my God, it's fun. So I'm a bit younger than Dan. He's been fishing these waters far longer than I have. And I was actually born into an age where catch and release fishing is starting to take over that old mentality of kill everything you catch. How many fish you could fit into an esky has suddenly been replaced by the quality of a photo of your fish or how many fish you were able to release that day. And I must admit, I'm proud to be a part of that group that's moving in that new direction.
Tell you what, when it comes to a nice flathead, Dan, you're on the net. Boom. There he is. High five.
Nice, mate.
That's a good fish. Right, well, let's put this fish in front of the camera and show you what a nice flathead looks like. I've got a glove here, which is nearly an essential these days, really, if you're chasing flathead. So it's like it's got a bit of a protective layer here, and then we always wet it, so dip it into the water. So it's nice and wet, and then just a nice, tight, firm hold in there, and that hook's popped straight out, which is excellent, which is why we use those single hooks. And then that's a beautiful fish. So Dan, in terms of watching out for the spikes, what am I looking for here?
So you got the two big gill rakers at the back of the head here. They're the most dangerous ones. Obviously the really sharp teeth on the flatties, they'll get you as well, so you want to avoid those.
And there's one at the top there, isn't there?
Yeah, you got one just in front of the top dorsal fin here.
Yeah.
That's pretty lethal.
A flathead of this size is always going to be put back in the water. But that doesn't mean we can't take a few things for the memory bank, which for us is usually a photo and a quick measure.
Right, we've given that flathead a bit of a swim, and I'm actually interested to see how long it is. So Dan's got a brag mat there. He's gonna dip it in the water. It's really important to wet that. Why is that, Dan? You don't want to...
You just don't want to take away their protective slime. You've got a layer of slime that...
So we put that fish on, and when we slide it up, it's just gonna slide really easily, and we don't want that to take off the slime that Dan said. So what do you got? We're 0 at the end there?
Yep.
And we're at 56 and a half. That's not a bad fish. It's a nice way to kick off a session, and we're not going to leave that on the mat for too long. It's overcast today, but if it was hot, that mat, especially if you've got a black one, can heat up really, really quickly. So time to let it
back
go.
in, yep.
Sounds good. I can get my thumb. See you, mate. Oh, there he goes, down to the depths.
So I'm a part of a flathead tagging program out here on the lake. It consists of 10 other anglers, and we've been doing it for 4 years now. Tagged over 650 dusky flathead over that 70 centimetre mark. One of the fish in particular I tagged has been recaptured 3 times again by myself and a 4th time by another angler. So it just goes to show that they are really resilient. If you look after them and handle them correctly, put them back in the water, they'll be out there for someone else to enjoy another time.
When it comes to fish handling, it's not overly complicated. It's just a matter of a few basic principles for when you ever have any fish on board, whether it be a really quality fish or even just one of those smaller size fish that might just be legal. You know, don't use lip grips. They're no good for the fish's mouths. They bruise it and pierce it. You know, wet your brag mats, your gloves and your rags. You don't want to take off any of that protective slime, and try use those nets, those rubber nets that have quite big holes in them, not only for your convenience when getting trebles out, but also so they don't rub up against the fish and damage whether it be their eye or their skin. So you take those 3 principles in any fishing scenario and you're doing the fish a favour.
When you throw small lures around, you're a chance of small fish. Now this guy, of course, I've got a lot of growing to do yet. Very, very small snapper or pinky or squire, they might call him, and he's gonna go offshore and grow hopefully to 10, 11, or maybe one day even 12 kilos, fingers crossed. But it's good to see them in Lake Macquarie, which is where we are today. And I'm actually gonna, oh, hang on, what's this?
These are these parasites the fish get in here, and it's really important to make sure you take these off. They leave the fish with big sores.
All right.
So make sure you take them off and kill them.
So it grows on the fish and it's left like a little bit of a mark there.
Yeah, you can see it already leaving a sore now. They'll attach themselves to these fish and they just give them grief.
Assessing the quality of a waterway can be difficult. Catching a big fish can be a great indication that the anglers in the past have done their part to release it if it's previously been caught. Catching smaller fish, however, and a range of them, can be a great indication that there is sufficient habitat around to support those numbers. Today, we were lucky enough to see the best of both worlds, which a range of smaller species in the morning, and then this in the afternoon.
Got him on, Dan?
Yeah. Got a nice fish here.
There he goes. Right. I'm gonna go get the net because you're going that way. Head shakes?
Yep.
You've caught a lot of these fish. Is that basically an indication that you've got on a mulloway?
Yeah, the head shakes and the big arc it took when it first grabbed the lure.
Yeah. So it grabbed it out there and kind of did a big wrap around.
They don't always scream off at 100 mile an hour. They'll grab the lure and they'll take an arc, left or right, doesn't matter which way. And they'll go deep, take that arc, and then once they've realised that there's something not quite right with what they've just eaten, then they'll take off.
I'm gonna get the net ready. I've got the gloves, the pliers, and a rag there ready to go for when it hits the deck. And I'm gonna leave Dan to do what he does best. Silver flash that I saw down in the water. We can barely see 2 or 3 meters, but here he is. Lake Macquarie, Dan Guilfoyle, come to me. Oh, yes. Put it there. How you feel?
Pretty good, mate. That's what we're after.
My goodness, that is a cracking Lake Macquarie mulloway. Jewfish as they were commonly called.
And have a look at how easy that slides straight out of this net. That's why we use these ones.
How good is that? Wait, Dan, let's get it up and have a look at it.
No worries.
There we go. So you got your right hand underneath his belly, supporting the weight. Dan, how heavy? How many kilos you reckon?
Oh, this thing would be probably 5 kilos, 6 kilos maybe.
Beautiful. And then this hand, you're not in its gills, are you?
No, you don't want to put your hands in the gills, just under the gills there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So 2 nice clean holds of the fish. Now in terms of getting that hook out, it hasn't popped out yet, so I'm going to get the pliers, which is just here, and we're not going to dig at it or anything. It might even pull out just ever so gently. There we go.
Look at that, he's just sitting on it.
So barely any pulling or yanking at that lure, which is so important when you get a mulloway like this. We've said before they're the kingpin of the estuary, and we want to make sure that we can keep catching them into the future. So nice hook release. We can use a rag there if we need. We're going to get him straight back in the water, but not before a quick photo. How's that sound?
Whilst Dan and I have been lucky enough to catch lots of fish over the years, anytime you can catch one in the middle of the day on a lure is a reason to celebrate. From the moment a fish like this hits the deck, we're doing everything we can to make sure it swims off healthy. A couple photos, a measure, and a tag if you wish is about all a fish like this can handle before it needs another swim.
And now time to get it back into the water.
Rightio, let's do this.
Catching a fish is all well and good, and don't get me wrong, that's certainly the fun part when it comes to fishing, but watching it swim off to where it came from, and that somewhat seals the deal for me. If I can catch it, get a photo, put it back in the water, and then watch it go back to the habitat where it came from, then that's job done.